So this is the Civilization 7 first preview. I have sunk hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into Civilization. Great game. Many a night not slept because of this game. Just one more battle, just one more round. If you know, you know. I'm excited to see what they do in Civ 7. Let's have a little look-see poodle, see what's going on. Civ 5 definitely trumps Civ 6 in my mind. You might completely disagree with me and be like, Emma, no! Civ 7 is the best one. But I do want to kind of see what they're up to and what they're doing with the game and if I want to spend my money on it. So let's have a look. It comes out in Feb. Oh, it's coming up, honey. So let's have a little look-see poodle.
There's nothing quite like the moment right before sitting down to see a new Civilization game for the first time.
Truth.
Particularly since this is the longest we've ever had to wait for a new one.
How long's it been?
Say I came away with a pretty positive outlook on Civilization 7.
Wow. Oh, it
it's
looks
a more daring,
good.
risky take on the formula than any of the past few iterations have been. And I think that's definitely the way to go, considering those older games aren't going anywhere and are still quite playable.
Yeah, they are.
That completely transform your chosen Civ to a bold, readable, but grounded new art style. Firaxis is already putting their best foot forward.
This looks fun, dude. I'm kind of excited! Yay! Civ 6 2016.
The historical 4X space has gotten a lot more crowded since Civ 6, and it seems apparent that Firaxis has been paying attention to what others dipping a toe into the genre have been doing.
I love
that leads us to the biggest single change Civ 7 is introducing. Like in 2020's Humankind, you won't be playing a single civilization for your entire campaign.
The radiance of the new world came into being bathed in nectar.
Double civies.
There are 3 distinct ages: Antiquity, Exploration, and Modern. The devs were quick to point out that ages aren't exactly equivalent to eras in past Civ games, since they're quite a bit longer and
like you can sometimes be in like 99 and you've still got an archer on your thing and you're like, wait a second, how did I miss this much time?
Or distinct. By turn 125 on standard speed, I was still in 1150 BC according to the RP clock, for instance. A campaign should take about the same amount of time as in past Civ games.
Do you get to dress them?
To play for each age with its own bonuses, units, and graphics.
Fun!
The thing that will stay with you is your initial choice of leader, a 3D avatar for your entire campaign that comes with their own set of permanent bonuses.
Cool.
The leaders themselves remain visually consistent throughout the ages. You won't see Hatshepsut
They won't age?
in a pantsuit in modern times, for instance.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And they're all civilization agnostic. Hatshepsut's bonuses synergize well with those of ancient Egypt, so you'll have some incentive to match a leader to their historical civ if you're min-maxing, but you can play her as the leader of any of the starting antique civs. After all, you might be finishing the campaign as the United States, so there will be some mixing and matching regardless.
Curious.
Firaxis is also taking the opportunity to include some leaders who weren't necessarily top-level political
Like I really have to move my face. I'm gonna move my face.
End up with just the exact same cast.
Is that Benjamin Franklin? What if I go right here? No, that's kind of annoying. I'll put myself here. Change where I was.
We've seen over and over again. Ben Franklin was specifically.
It is Ben Franklin.
I didn't get to see him fully animated in 3D.
It's like I know.
When falls the Colosseum, Rome shall fall.
What isn't totally agnostic is your choice of a new civ in the coming age. Addressing one of my gripes with Humankind, that you could go from Celts to Chinese with little or no narrative context. Every starting civ will have at least one natural path that's always available to them. Egypt can naturally transition into Songhai and then Buganda. But everyone can also potentially earn access to certain later age civs that are unlocked by gameplay choices.
I don't know if I've got this right, but you can start as a particular civilization, and obviously as the civilization died out naturally in the world, you become a different one. Is that what they're trying to say? Yeah, no.
Transitioning between ages will come with a period of crisis, and I got to see just the beginning of one of them for Antiquity, which was called The Rising Storm. Depicting the fall of the great empires of old, it required me to take one crisis policy card, similar to Civ 6's Dark Ages, where all of them were bad bad, so it was definitely a pick your poison moment.
Oh, that's
At the
kind
same
of
time,
fun.
New groups of independent people who have completely replaced barbarians
I love the
and
graphics.
city-states, but can act like either one depending on what.
I love city-states and I'm gonna miss you. I loved taking your stuff and using it for my own good. They're gone now, boo. But barbarians, so annoying. They would spawn so much. Please go away. You're just distracting me from winning the game.
State of development they're in, and can be dealt with militarily or diplomatically, started spawning around my hinterlands.
Ooh, we see some battling happening. I hope we
Transitioning
do.
to a new age doesn't only give you new mechanical bonuses, though. Lead designer Ed Beach used the city of London
Ed.
as an example of how you build cities in Civ 7. Comparing maps of Roman London to medieval London, very little of the former city is left standing. And the same is true if you compare medieval London to modern London. New civilizations are built over the ruins of the past. And through a concept called overbuilding, that's literally what we'll be doing in the later
Oh my
ages
god.
of Civ 7.
So you build over what you've already built. It doesn't grow
Cities are
over
still
time.
sprawled across multiple tiles like in Civ 6, but there are now only two types of districts, urban and rural.
I never quite understood the districts in Civ 6. Civ 5 is my bitch. Civ 6, I was like, I don't understand. And then I couldn't build certain things because I city planned real bad. Real bad. Why am I always in the wrong spot? I'm gonna move myself again. Hi, move myself again. Honestly. It's like they don't want me in this video or something.
So unlike Civ 6, a science district isn't a thing you plop down that is going to start out being focused entirely on science. It's just an urban district that you have chosen to specialize towards science with synergistic
Understood.
buildings.
Understood.
Preparing the lands for new growth. Here, Egypt will compel the world to
I
behold
love the voice.
wonders it works.
Very sexy,
Rural
honey.
districts are more or less what used to be called tile improvements. Remember builders? They're gone. Moving citizens around between tiles?
They're gone.
Also gone. Instead, what now happens is when you would gain a new citizen through population growth,
Yes.
you immediately are prompted to plop down a new district, which will be empty if it's urban. You still need to spend production on city buildings. Or possibly add a specialist to an existing district if you've unlocked the civics for it.
Oh my god, fun, fun.
I played, you could only place districts adjacent to existing ones, which on the one hand creates tighter and more believable urban cores. I didn't really think this restriction made sense for rural districts though. I'd like to be able to place those a bit further out, since the look of outlying farms and mines spread around my city center, I think, creates a really nice scene. And the way it is currently, you can't really save room for future urban sprawl, so I ended up with kind of a weird looking checkerboard of urban and rural, which doesn't feel especially authentic.
I still don't understand how to do the planning of the urbans of the planny wannies. I'm excited for Civ 7 too, though. I still don't understand some of the mechanics of the game, which I think come from Civ 6, which I haven't played a lot of.
Settling new cities also now starts them out as a town, which doesn't have a production queue, and instead
Oh, that's
turns all of its
cute.
production into gold. You can still buy things directly in a town with gold, and the cost of upgrading it to a full city will be reduced by how much you've built it up this way already. This would be a nice option for expansion, since I don't really like managing 15 different production queues.
Yeah, it does take up a lot of time.
Overall, Civ 7 looks great so far.
It does look
Civ
really
6's
nice.
Art style was, shall we say, divisive, and I was more on the negative side for sure. All these years later, I still think Civ 5 looks better than its direct successor.
We love Civ 5, honey.
Has taken another stylized but much more grounded and tactile approach. The main influences on the art style were painted miniatures, model trains, dioramas, and museum displays. And
that's
everything
cute.
on them great to look at.
It is beautiful.
I feel like I could reach down in there and pick these little guys up to get a closer look at them.
If I have to move this freaking face one more time. Oh, nope, wrong thing. I gotta move my. Nope. I'm gonna put it here because apparently that's where it wants me to go. Honestly, stop moving me around. I am curious to see how AI is gonna be balanced this time round. I hate being best friends with someone and then the next moment getting denounced because they're mad that someone would give them pearls. Have a freaking cry about it. Bro, Seth.
Has
Oh, I like
also been
this.
greatly reworked from Civ 6. Influence is
Thank
now
God.
a baseline currency produced by certain buildings, and you spend it on direct
Okay.
actions that target
Ooh,
another.
like.
It's to reduce the emphasis on transactional horse trading type diplomacy.
Thank
so every time
you.
you do something diplomatically, it's more of a specific jab or handshake that you're engaging in.
Okay.
Influence also has a fairly low cap and is use it or lose it, encouraging you to engage in diplomacy regularly.
That sounds like an interesting element. The question is, will they try to take my pearls? Leave my pearls alone. Oh, she's
really
mad.
Interesting example
I also love how they seem to have more women in this one. Yay!
of this was a treaty Amina kept hitting me with when we were on less than great terms, which would cause my relationship with my BFF Augustus to deteriorate unless I spent an even larger ante of influence.
Cause Augustus getting mad that you didn't spend enough time with him. He wants some special time with his bromance, his bro friend. He's like, stop spending time with that woman. Come spend some time with me, bro.
To counter it. This presents some diabolical ways you can play other civs against each other, and a reason to keep some influence in the bank. The other really great twist with influence is that you can spend it during a war to increase your side's war support, which works kind of like a diplomatic tug of war. If one side has invested a lot more influence than the other into war support, the side with less will suffer scaling penalties to combat effectiveness and happiness in their cities. So
I'm curious to see how the battle happens this time around in Civ. I love battling, don't get me wrong, but it's always so drawn out, so long, so tedious. I would like it to be like a little bit faster. And also, I feel like in previous Civs, I'm speaking especially on Civ 5, it just takes so long. And once you do one thing, then you can't win any other way because you're caught in a battle. And then Gandhi's already built everything and influenced everyone and wins the game. And you're like, I was just trying to keep, you know, the freaking assholes off my back, and there's nothing you can do. So I'm curious how they do it this time around.
So diplomacy is now key to the military game as well, which I love.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I feel like it looks pretty damn good. I probably won't be a first purchaser. I'll let it kind of do its thing. And then when enough people are like, it's amazing, or it needs patches and it's not working, that's when I'll jump in there and be like, okay, I'll buy it. I think that'll be me. Interesting. Interesting.